I made a door wreath. What do you reckon? Actually, I made this door wreath a few years ago and I think it's time for a revamp. Hello there, I'm Julie from Julie Davis Flower Workshops and Flower Start, the online flower arranging classes. Now, as I said, I made this wreath a few years ago and it's actually been made on the metal frame. I don't know if you can see it there. It came from a hubcap which I found on the side of the road. And then I added in these pliable twigs. I think there's some silver birch in there, some pussy willow and some beech. And then over the course of time, it's had various silk flowers on them. And these were originally cut from a garland of flowers. And then I've added in some extra eucalyptus and it was all pale shades of pink. And that must have been the summer 2 or 3 years ago. And I spray painted it lightly white to see me through a winter. And then I added some richer tones of copper and then more of the pinks and cranberry colours to use again in the autumn time. So I've decided now is a time for a major revamp. But if you'd like to know how I got to this phase of my door wreath, I will leave a link to the video I filmed at the time in the show notes under this one. Now the inspiration for my wreath this time round is going to be this little jasperware saucer which my mum gave me. To be honest, I don't really like it and I was trying to think a way of incorporating it into my decor in something I could enjoy. And I do love a door wreath. And over the course of my last 6 months or so of thrifting, I've been collecting lots of little saucers. I think these might be coasters actually. I've been inspired by a video I saw made by Miss Justina Marie, I think it was. I will leave a link to her video, her Instagram account, and a screenshot of the wreath that she made using these little saucers, well, similar saucers. She really is the go-to expert if you love that grand millennial vibe, that granny chic. Now I added on these flowers using the hot glue gun, which gives an instant hold, but it's not a long lasting glue. And in fact, as I've just picked up the wreath, it started to fall apart. And my idea is I'm going to very carefully snap off these decorations. I'll probably save them so I can use them for something else, perhaps spray paint them a different colour. And then I'm going to add in some extra greenery and I'll show you how. It was a bit weird taking something apart that I spent ages and ages making. Let me know in the comments whether you would prefer to throw away or donate your bygone wreaths to charity shop, or whether you like taking them apart and reimagining them. I've got a lovely selection of materials that I can pack away for another time. And here's my nude door wreath with all the decorations gone, ready to be embellished. These are the pipe cleaners I used to attach the pliable vines onto the metal rim from the car hubcap. So I need to add on a little bit of extra greenery now, just to pad out or make my wreath more bulky, in order that when I hang the plates and the saucers from it, they're not going to slide around. I've got this awful ivy trail here. Now my daughter bought this online and it's never been my cup of tea, but she had it hanging up as tendrils, like an ivy curtain hanging down from her bedroom wall, and she's decided that it's not for her anymore. So what I'm going to do is to string that around the garland using the pipe cleaner ends to tie it in place. So I've got quite a lot of the garland left. And I think I'm going to give this quite heavy coverage. So just lashing it in, tying it in, where I've got those existing points, high points left over from the twiggy bits that I added in originally. And then when I've run out of pipe cleaner, I've got some more and I can continue the process. I think that's probably enough greenery for now, but this ivy is a really unnatural, vibrant green. So I've got some white spray paint. I thought I'd just give it a zhuzh all over just to dampen down the colour a little bit. I've got some Rust-Oleum Painter's Touch. This is the first white paint that I came across. I think that looks much better. So I'll leave that to dry, and I'm going to wash up my plates and take off the sticky price labels. So I've got some bird coasters, goldfinch, Berkshire fine bone china, sunflowers 50p, Guild Crafts of Poole, another 50p dish, Elizabethan bone china, English bone china from the Fenton China Company, Wedgwood ice rose for £1. Quite like this one here with the ladybird. Hand painted, made in England. I'm not sure what that says. 50p. Another coaster, Berkshire fine bone china. This reminds me of some souvenirs I bought with my mum and dad when we went to Versailles when I was about 10 years old. 50p. Fine bone china, made in Britain. Colport rose garden, and then my Wedgwood jasperware piece, and then the other coasters. I got all my plates washed up with the labels removed, trying to work out now what sort of arrangement to put them in. These ones here, I'm wondering whether they're melamine rather than actually china. So I might hide those underneath a little bit and let the nicer ones sit on top. I'm imagining something like that, but I'm just not quite convinced that my original inspiration saucer is going to make it into the final wreath. What do you reckon? Square and blue, with or without? My plan is to fix these plates to my wreath using traditional plate hooks, like that. The ones I bought on Amazon have come in the individual pieces. So, like that. I've then got a plastic bag full of little stoppers at the end, which I think go over these pieces in order that they don't scratch the front surface of the plates. I've gone for 6-inch plate hooks because I wanted to be able to hang the plate hook up, but the wreath is going to go on that side and then the hooks are going to go all the way around the top edge. So although the plates aren't 6 inches wide, by the time you've got the hook around the plate and around the bulk of the wreath, I'm hoping that 6-inch was a good size to buy. Well, that was fiddly work. I had to go through, some of them were already pre-made, but some of them had come undone in the packet, just making sure that you have each of the hangers so that they lie flat on the back and then have these claw bits upright. And now for the moment of truth. Is this going to be as easy as it looks? Let's have a go. Grab a hook, attach it to the base of the plate, slide the plate hanger under the wreath and then stretch to hold in place. So I'm going to put the least attractive plates on first. They'll provide a good base. And that's what they look like on the other side. I'm just going to keep going and keep adding. And then I changed my mind. I've decided that my wreath was too flat and I didn't like all the multicoloured plates. So I've taken off the ones with the bluish head tinge, and then all the green, the flowers that I took off the wreath the first time, well, I thought I might spray paint some of those just to give me a bit more of a three-dimensional quality to my wreath. As you can see, I've taken some of the plates off the wreath, the tiny little French looking one, the blue Wedgwood, and then these cheaper looking melamine plates, or coasters with the fruit on them. And what I've done is clustered the plates together, mindful of the fact that the wreath is quite heavy, so it's got to hang evenly. So that's going to be the top. I've got the cluster of yellow ones to the side, and then the green and pinks off to the other side with a few gaps. The idea being I'll put in some extra sprigs of greenery and perhaps even some ribbon. I'll take my spray painted flowers and see where I can group those around the wreath. Just tucking them in first of all without gluing them to see whether I like the overall look. I'm not sure about the roses, but I think I will definitely put some of the greenery in. It just gives it a bit more of a three-dimensional lift. So gluing along the length of the stem, and then slide that into the wreath, hoping it doesn't touch the crockery, because I might want to reuse the crockery for something else at some other point in time. And when I add the roses, don't automatically go for the base of the rose. Think about where it's going to touch the wreath. So actually what I want to do is create a circle of glue around the edge of those petals there. There, I think that's looking much better already. Just looks slightly lighter because it's not cluttered with colour, and it's just got a more pleasing three-dimensional look. The next thing to think about is whether to add some ribbon. I've got two options for ribbons. This is an ivory ribbon, very fine, wire edge so it will hold its shape. I don't know if it's going to end up looking too bridal. It's a little bit insignificant. Or I've got this lovely ribbon that I bought for Christmas time. It's got a faded nude sort of colour, which actually might go quite well with the roses, but it's not wire edged, but it is thicker, a satin ribbon, and it might just add that touch of luxury. Let's go for the thicker ribbon. One, two, three, 1, 2, 3. Take a floristry wire. tie it as tight as I can so the ribbon bows won't slide out. Cut the tails to length. I think I'm going to do a slant cut here just to stop the ribbon fraying. This is going to be my top. It's always got an area of interest there, an area of interest here. So whether to put it with the existing areas of interest or to add another area of interest. I think I'm going to keep with what I've got. So I'm going to use these two prongs here, slide them through the flexible canes that made up the original base of the wreath. Turn the wreath over and tie those ends together. Twist them together, and you'll see here with the smaller plates that the 6-inch plate hook was too long and the plates kept falling off, so I twisted it round 3 times, I think, just to make just to shorten the gap between the 2 sets of hooks to make sure that held in place. I'm going to roll these wires down so they don't scratch my front door and tuck them out of the way. So I'll probably make another ribbon for down here and then that'll be finished. Ta-da! What do you reckon? I am so pleased I took the opportunity to review what I'd been doing. I really felt, in hindsight, that by putting all the dishes on, especially those flat apple ones with the little bits of text on them, it just didn't quite work. And it made my collection of plates look like a hodgepodge collection of plates rather than a curated look. So I've kept my yellow ones grouped and then my pink and greens on this side grouped as well. Being careful to think about the balance because the door wreath is very heavy. So I did think about having them all on one side. It would have looked lovely, but I think I would have had difficulty keeping the wreath straight on my front door. I've also managed to create a little bit of body and movement as well by incorporating some of my flowers and greenery from the original door wreath, which I sprayed white, and then accented it with the blush coloured rhythm, which really brings everything together. And I think that looks really great if you're having a party, perhaps even a hen party or something bridal. It would look beautiful on your front door. So what do you reckon? Yay or nay? Is this something you'd think of doing with some of your vintage crockery finds? If you fancy giving it a go, I'll leave a link to the plate rack hooks that I used and also the ribbon and the spray paint too. If you do decide to give it a go, don't forget to share your photographs in my free Facebook group, Flower Start World. You'll find a link to that in the show notes underneath this video. That's all from me for now, and I'll see you next time.